If you're someone who wants to break the sub 30-minute 5K that's so popular, maybe at the moment you're quite far away, you've just started running, or maybe you're someone who's not too far off the pace you need to be going at, but you know that you need to work on your speed, you need to be able to run a little bit quicker ultimately to get under that 5K mark, let me help you. I've coached over 100 men to transform their health, their fitness, lose weight, improve their running as a byproduct too. And myself, I've gone from being a runner who was running 30+ minute 5Ks down to a recent 18-minute and 10-second 5K at Aintree last weekend. So I'm experienced in this field, I'm happy to help you guys, and I specialize in helping people around your current level to break through plateaus, get under the 30-minute mark, drop into sub 25 and even to sub 20. So in today's video, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, and I'm gonna show you the exact things that you need to worry about. I'm not gonna talk to you about the things that aren't gonna play a massive role in your journey. I wanna talk to you about the things that are gonna have the most impact, the best running sessions. Should you or shouldn't you be doing strength training? How many times to run a week? What type of runs to be doing? Should you be doing these threshold sessions you see online, tempo, VO2 max work, zone 2? Is zone 2 even worth it? We'll have that conversation too. Make sure to stick around, because by the end of this video, not only will you know exactly what to be doing, I'll also be offering a free training program that will help you crush that sub 30-minute 5K. So first of all, I get it. I've been there before. I remember probably 5 years ago now, running a mile, and it took me like 12 minutes. My shins were cramped. I felt awful. I was out of breath, and I walked home and I thought, I'm no good at this. Maybe running's not for me, right? Fast forward 5 years later, and running's never even been my #1 focus. It's always been in the background until the last sort of 6 months or so. But now I'm running 5Ks, 18-minute and 10 seconds. I ran 3K in 10 minutes and 10. My 10Ks, 38:30. And I can relate to you because I haven't always been at this level, right? I've always been someone who thought he wasn't a good runner, and my times were quite slow, but I decided to change that. So let me help you. Let's change that. Let's make sure that we can bring you from where you're at now to sub 30, and let's get you hitting some PBs. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is actually running volume. So when I speak to a lot of people, if I keep this really simple, the more you run, typically, the better you're going to get at the sport, right? It's a sport at the end of the day. All you're doing is repetitive movement, one leg, next leg, next leg. The more you do that, typically the better you're going to be. But the goal is to be able to, first of all, establish how much running you can actually do per week, not just based on your training age, so how long you've been training for, but also like how much time have you got accessible to you. You might have kids, you might be super busy with work, and running might not be your #1 priority. So first of all, I'd establish how much time can you commit to it. And dependent on your level, which based on this video being around that 30-minute 5K mark, let's say you're running 3 times per week and you're doing maybe 3 5Ks per week, right? I would then focus on how can we increase the volume over time. Like I said, if you're running more, typically you're going to get better. However, that's the simple thing. What we also need to look at is the quality of these sessions. I'm a big believer in quality over quantity. I'd rather you do less running, but it be better quality, than just do more for the sake of it. The next thing I want you to be really considerate of is what can you actually recover from? This is super important. There's no point just adding more training into your week and adding more stress onto the body if you're not in a position to recover from it. Recovery is your #1 thing. I want you to make sure, based on your training age, so how long you've been running for, based on how much time you've got accessible to you, what's the most amount of running that you can do where you can still recover from? Based on that question, I want you to think, what's your answer to that? That frequency is exactly what I want you to be doing each week. The next thing I want you to think about is, where's your weight at the moment? Now, this might sound really obvious, but a lot of people will tell me that they're getting injured, right? And this can be like due to too much too soon, like what we spoke about before. We've figured that out now. We've solved that problem because we've established how many days can you train a week, what can your body actually recover from, and what's your actual availability based on your time, right? Your weight is going to be something super important because a lot of people I work with are on a weight loss journey anyway. So typically, if you're carrying around 10, 20, 30 kilo of excess body fat, if you can bring that down every single step you take, you're going to be more efficient because you're carrying less body fat that's adding 0 benefit into your running, which means that you're going to be a more efficient athlete, essentially. And the current exercise you're doing, the current work rate you're going at, the pace that you need to be going at for your sub 30 is going to be a hell of a lot easier. And not only will it be a hell of a lot easier, but it will be less stressful on your body as a whole as well. And as a byproduct of this, your chance of injury goes down. And I want to talk about the type of running session. So you'll see a big thing online with like zone 2, and even people talking about zone 1 sessions, right? And these can be great. Like I use these myself, but with a lot of runners that I work with, I often see that like this isn't specifically what I program. I like to talk it based on like your effort level. Now, the reason for this is because if you're around maybe the 30-minute mark, you might find that by just simply running, even if you're going at a really, really steady pace, one that feels like you could walk quicker, your heart rate probably is still there or maybe even higher than zone 2. So when I've previously programmed people around this level for a zone 2 session, I look at their heart rate, I look at their pace, and just by simply running, this is taking you past zone 2. So you can leverage other forms of cardio to help you to stay in zone 2 and train that adaptation rather than just specifically running. Now, this is a really interesting one because you want to get better at running, so surely running more should be the answer. And I believe it is. It definitely is at this stage. But when we train the body, we can train the body to adapt in multiple different ways. Now, one thing that I talk to my clients a lot is something called central adaptations, meaning your heart and your lungs. So how can we improve the efficiency of our heart and our lungs? Now, that might be a great example of this would be zone 2 training. So we could do zone 2 training and improve our efficiency for our heart and lungs by doing it on the cross trainer or by doing it on the bike, right? You're getting fitter, you're targeting that adaptation to get fitter. However, you're not having the impact from running. Maybe based on the stage you're at the moment, you might be overweight, and running might be something that you're getting a little bit of niggles from. Obviously, go to the start of the video to make sure that you're being efficient as you can with that too. So I would take that into consideration in your training. Now, I'm not going to give you a direct answer on whether you should be doing that or whether you should just be running. That depends person to person. But I'd say for most people I work with, I program something that isn't actually just a run, and you're just doing some lower intensity work on maybe a cross trainer or a bike. This way you're still targeting that adaptation, like we said, them central adaptations, your heart and your lungs, with lower impact, maybe something that you can't get by running at this stage with your current level of fitness. Otherwise, the problem is sometimes you neglect that and all of your training actually ends up being a lot more intense than it needs to be. This can have too much stress on the body, you then struggle to recover, and then maybe you start getting injuries and little niggles, which then takes you back to square one. But aside from that, if we're going to talk about specific running sessions, this is how I'd want you to think about it. I want you to have, let's use an example, you can do 4 runs a week. I want you to have 2 runs that are classed as just easy. These might be 20, 30 minutes, easy pace. Like I essentially want you to be able to answer these 3 questions during a run. Number 1, is this easy? Like, does it actually feel easy? Number 2, if I was there with you and I told you to go quicker, could you go quicker? Or would you be feeling, no, I don't want to go quicker, this is already quite hard? And number 3 would be, if I was there with you, could you have a conversation with me? Or could you not? If you couldn't, then it's probably too hard. So that's going to be like your easy run. Obviously, depending on who I'm coaching, it might vary, but let's say 20 to 30 minutes. Now, you might have 2 of them a week, then you have 1 that would be like your long run. So the long run might be, at that stage, if it's 20 to 30 minutes, your long run might be 40 minutes. And then your last session would be something where you're adding a little bit more speed into it. So that might be a great session to introduce people. It's going to be like a tempo run, which is typically around zone 3, if we're talking about like zone models. But let's just say that you're doing 2 easy runs, 1 long run, and then you're doing 1 session that's a tempo run. That's what I have with a lot of clients that just want to do, say, if we're doing 4 runs a week. If we were looking at, is it more efficient to have just a session where you maybe do it on the bike and we just do some zone 2? That's a question that I go depends specifically on the individual and where they're at. But I think for the majority of the time, that works really well too. So there would be your 4 sessions. Make sure they're programmed in across the week. And then over time within your training phase, your goal should be, how can we either increase the volume or increase the intensity? Now, at that stage, trying to break this sub 30, the goal would just be, in my opinion, to improve the volume over time. So you're doing more running. Your long runs go from 40 minutes eventually to maybe an hour. Your easy runs are from 20 minutes to 30 or to 40. And then your tempo sessions, again, the volume increases, but again, the intensity is something we can play around with too. And over time, of course, your speeds will also get quicker while still being in that same easy feel or the pace that you got on your long run or your tempo sessions. The pace will also improve too as a byproduct of your body adapting to the training stimulus and you getting fitter. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is strength training. Now, I would recommend this for everyone. If you're someone who you're like, oh my God, I've got to do 4 runs, you're talking about a zone 2 session on like the bike and strength training, how do I make all this work? I've actually made training programs that are going to help every single one of you to crush that sub 30 minute 5K mark. All I want you to do if you want access to that is comment the word 30 below and I'll send that straight over to you. But strength training is something that I recommend to everyone. And this doesn't mean that you need to be in the gym, pumping iron and just, yeah, it doesn't necessarily just mean that. Like, you could be doing strength work where you're utilizing a lot of your own body weight. You could be just doing work where you're focused on like your movement mechanics as well. You could integrate some mobility into this as well. But essentially, I want you to have a session each week where you're doing a little bit of strength work. You're working on mobilizing your body, you're working on some stability, and this is going to help with injury prevention. A lot of the work you should be doing should be around your ankle, like your Achilles, your calf. You should be doing work around your hip. You should be doing work on your core. This is what's going to allow you to run more efficiently and be able to run without, well, hopefully preventing injuries, and which is going to allow you to run better for a longer period of time. At the end of the day, if we want to progress, we want to try and think, what are reasons why we can't progress? One of them, the most frequent thing within running, is injuries. This typically comes from doing too much volume too soon. The stronger we can make our body, the more robust we are, the less chance of getting an injury, which means the longer we can successfully run for and progress. And the final thing is going to be your recovery. Now, I'll keep this short and sweet. I said it towards the start of the video. Your body only adapts to what it can actually recover from. Like if you're doing too much training, there is going to be diminishing returns where if your body can't already recover from that 4th run, adding in that 5th run, that doesn't mean it's just going to get you fitter. If anything, that's just going to apply more stress onto your body that you can't even To do this, I want you to focus on just simplicity. Can you make sure that, first of all, your training volume's managed? So we spoke about that, and you need to be on a proper plan to get the most out of this. You need to make sure that your nutrition's optimized as well. It doesn't need to be absolutely perfect, but as good as you can, right? If you're making sure that you're consistent with your nutrition, this is going to massively support your training and going to help you to recover and keep you injury free as well. And then the final thing is going to be your sleep. Simple. Everyone's talking about creatine, everyone's talking about supplementation, vitamins, whatever. Get good sleep, do it consistently, don't neglect the basics. These are what's going to have the biggest impact on your journey. If you recover from your training, that's exactly what we need to be doing. If you start noticing that you're getting niggles or you're going into a run and you're feeling battered, if you're doing that all the time, it's too much at this stage. It shouldn't be happening, and you're not recovering from the training you're already doing, which means you need to have a look at, is it your sleep, is it your training program, or is it your nutrition? Something there is going to be not quite there, and that's why you're going to be getting injured. And simple things, stretch. Even for me, hot baths work really well. They work amazing for me. And a little bit of foam roll in the calves works really well too. But like I said, don't neglect the big 3. Proper training, load management, proper nutrition, and proper sleep. That's what's going to give you the most impact and the most bang for your buck. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have, make sure to like and subscribe and share with someone who you think will get value from this too. Next time you guys go into a race or you're doing the park run, hopefully you can crush that sub 30. And if you want to learn about working with me and learn about how I can actually help you one-on-one to achieve this goal and take it further than that sub 30, let's break sub 25, let's break sub 20, then all I want you to do is go to the first link in the description, head to my Instagram at Jacob Smith Coach, drop me a message, DM me the word coaching, and we can have a chat and see how I can help you crush your next PB.